So today I want to talk about what is Addison's disease. There's a lot of research out there and a lot of people's opinions and a lot of notes and websites and books, and honestly, it can get really overwhelming and really confusing, especially when you're first diagnosed or somebody that you love is most recently diagnosed and you're just trying to get an understanding as to what Addison's disease is. So I just wanted to share today my understanding. I am not an expert on Addison's disease. However, I was diagnosed over 2 years ago, and I have learned as much as I possibly can to help my body. And so I just want to help others. So Addison's disease is an adrenal disease. It means that your adrenal glands are no longer functioning and producing the necessary hormones that your body needs to live. You may not be producing any hormones at all. It varies for the person. So your adrenal glands are resting on top of your kidneys, and your pituitary gland is sending ACTH to your kidneys and saying, hey, produce some hormones, produce some cortisol, and go pump the heart and make the brain work and process stressful situations and keep the body moving. And it's sending out hundreds of other hormones as well. Cortisol is just the primary one that doctors and people with Addison's disease focus on. So your body normally sends ACTH to your kidneys and tells them to pump that cortisol. But when you have Addison's disease, there's nothing to produce. So your ACTH keeps sending those messages and is like, hey, what's up? You're not sending in a cortisol. And that is when your skin turns brown or orange. So after my diagnosis, my skin has turned pretty much back to normal, but I'm still a little orange or a little bit yellow on the palms and on the bottom of my feet and in the knuckles. But that's usually the first indicator for doctors that you may have Addison's disease if you're turning that bronze color. So that's a physical thing that you can see with Addison's disease. But internally, since your body's not producing those hormones, your body can't really function. It's not going to succeed or be able to move or thrive or process or even allow your organs to function if those hormones are not being replaced. So that is where steroid replacement therapy comes into play. And as someone who doesn't like doctors or medicine of any kind, I was really hesitant about starting steroids. However, sometimes you have to do what you got to do. And when pros propose with the situation of take steroids for life, which have their own side effects, of course, or not live for much longer, you kind of have to make the appropriate choice for you personally. So with Addison's disease, as soon as you take your steroids and you find your right dosage and amount, your body should normalize to somewhat of a normal life. That's not the case for everyone. Not everybody figures out a good dose, and not everybody has a normal life again. I consider myself incredibly lucky because majority of the time I'm pretty functional and I'm able to do things. I still have days where I'm stuck in bed and I can't move and I end up with low cortisol symptoms and I am in quite a bit of pain. However, I have more good days than bad days. It's taken a long time to get to that place, but it was well worth all the research and the time and energy. When you are first diagnosed with a chronic illness, it feels like another job. And it can stay that way for a really long time because you have to manage your health in order to survive. But the most helpful thing I can say is learn as much as you can from as many people as you possibly can. Have a general understanding of what's happening in your body and what you need to thrive. So that way you can move through life feeling good and having an understanding of what's happening to you. Yes, of course, for yourself, but then you can better explain it to other people around you. And you can, maybe give them a little bit of insight as to why you have to cancel plans all the time, or why your body's not always reliable, or why maybe your brain's not always working and you can't process something that's going on. Because we're missing a hormone, many hormones that our body needs to function.